Hi everyone, this is Kelsey Jones, Executive Editor of Search Engine Journal, and I'm joined here today by Jabez Lebret, co-founder of GNGF and contributor to Forbes. Jabez, thank you so much for joining me.
Oh, thank you for having me. This is exciting.
I know we met at State of Search last year, so it's good to see you back here at Pubcon.
Can't go wrong. Both of those conferences are amazing.
They're awesome, right? So today we both want to talk about something that we're both love to talk about, which is user-generated content.
Oh, love user-generated content.
So I'd love to hear your thoughts on where you think it is now, where it could go, what brands are using it correctly.
Yeah, you know, it's amazing. User-generated content, what blows my mind is it's pretty much free content from the people actually using your stuff. That could be your product, your services, your things, and they go out there and they'll proselytize about you, and they already are, even if you don't know about it. It's already happening. So why not just kind of make it a little more strategic and maybe kind of give it some direction? I think a good example, Z Gallery, the furniture store, they do an amazing job. Go check them out on Instagram. They do, and Pinterest, they do a fantastic job of encouraging their customers to submit images of their furniture inside their homes. And it's so much more genuine and authentic than a showroom where you've got everything, a catalog photo. And Lululemon does a really good job of encouraging users to submit their images, send them, use this hashtag, be part of our nation, our group, our collective. And man, people, if they love your stuff, they want you to talk about them. They love that stuff.
Home Goods does that too. Do you
yes,
have
Home Goods does a very good job of that.
Yeah, and so that works for them because they can't really have an online site since their inventory changes. So it's really cool to see like a cool find somebody found. And I'm like, oh, well, maybe I'll see that at my Home Goods. I should go see if they have these vases or whatever. So it works really well. What about, so I know we kind of are talking about e-commerce. What about brands and long-form content?
Well, so we work with law firms. So my agency, GNGF, only works with law firms, and we even use user-generated content for our law firms. And so a good example is we had a client who deals with burn victims. So people have been badly burned and they're needing to deal with medical bills, and I mean, these really tragic stories. And our client, we did a huge outreach on Instagram asking people if you've been burned and you would like to share your story to help other people who may be going through the same thing, send us your information. And we got like 16 people from one post on Instagram sending us images and copy and their story, and we add a little bit to it to bookcase the story to make sure that it flows and makes sense, and we roll them out multi-parts. So we're even like able to stretch them out, and we can use multiple images.
That's awesome.
And it's content we didn't really have to do much to get. And it tells such a better story than come work with me. And that's a law firm. I mean, you could really do it for anything. It doesn't have to be e-commerce. It could be services. It can be, you know, we have our clients send us pictures of them sitting by their computer with their new website. You know, like, because you could just think about like what would be something.
It personalizes
anything. Right. So it brings a face to the actual product or service.
I think user-generated content that really makes an impact too is if it's personal. So BuzzFeed has like a community where anyone can publish an article, and then the team decides if they want to promote it to the front page. And there's been stuff on there that's like 10 of the best Beanie Babies of all time or whatever, and it gets like thousands of shares for BuzzFeed, but just a random community member created it, and then suddenly it's like a free content, like you were saying, free traffic for BuzzFeed just because people love the pop culture that BuzzFeed is about. And
I don't know if you know this, but I think that Beanie Babies might have actually been responsible for eBay actually becoming a successful company.
I hope so.
Isn't that insane? I was like, I remember they were selling for like hundreds of dollars. I was like, this is insanity.
Beanie Babies were my jam, and there's a really embarrassing photo of me. When I was 12 years old, I made my mom take me to a photo, like a photographer studio, and there's a photo of me with all my Beanie Babies around me.
Oh my!
I'll show you after the interview.
You need to publish that to one of those like the embarrassing photos of me when I was a kid. Collages.
I put it in Reddit. There's like an embarrassing adolescence.
Perfect. Or Throwback Thursday. Now, Throwback Thursday, there's an interesting one for user-generated content.
Way to bring us back.
No, it's true. What we find is that people like to show where they were at before, and you can juxtapose that to where are you now. And so the way that we use Throwback Thursday with user-generated content is we say, send us the picture, like sticking with Z Gallery because it's easy. Send us a picture of your old couch, now send us a picture of your new couch. Or send us a picture of you using this other service that wasn't even ours way back in the day, and now show a picture of you using our stuff. And so really there's so many opportunities if you step back and say, I just need to not be afraid to ask. And I think sometimes we just don't think to ask. if
you think
people would like
nobody
to.
will yeah.
Right.
It's the nostalgia factor too. So a lot of times for my Throwback Thursday, I'll do photos from high school or whatever, and it's like, oh, remember us, you know? So you could do companies where people have been using your vacuum cleaner for 50 years, and it's a photo
Absolutely.
of your grandmother using a rainbow vacuum. You know, that'd be a great Throwback Thursday.
Think of a nonprofit. A nonprofit could use user-generated content by having the people who are out there volunteering taking pictures of themselves in the moments that they're volunteering.
Yeah.
And so it's like
Good
endless
memories.
possibilities of being able to solicit people to say, please just share your story. And that's really all you're doing, is saying just share your story with us so that we can share it with our community.
Yeah.
And what happens is that person then goes and shares that story.
Yeah.
So then they're
'cause were
like, look at me,
featured.
look at me over here. And you know, American Apparel was doing that for a while with people send us a picture of you in American Apparel clothing. And when somebody got American Apparel put their clothing online, they were like, oh my gosh, check it out. And I mean, it just continues to drive the machine. I mean, American Apparel's just filed for bankruptcy, so maybe they're not the best example.
Yeah.
But no, it really is. One thing we said on Monday in the mastery session, so I was fortunate enough to do the mastery session with Lisa Beyer and Melissa Fatch on social media on Monday here at Pubcon. And one little tiny idea that we had that came out of that session was to put your animal in your user-generated content image.
Yeah.
So ask people to send, and so do a whole campaign with like, send us an image with you and our product, service, or whatever, and
With
your cat.
That's a good idea.
Because the internet loves cats. I don't know,
I know.
why. I don't know. I would love to see the case study on why cats are like the most popular thing on the internet ever, but for some
no
reason,
idea.
cats get you traction. So I say bring them in. More the
Yeah.
merrier.
That's a good tip to end on, I think.
I love it.
Okay. So thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having us. Fantastic.
Again, this is Jabez Lebret and Kelsey Jones with Search Engine Journal.
Mic drop.
This is Kelsey Jones, Executive Editor of Search Engine Journal, and I'm here today with Guy Kawasaki, Chief Evangelist of Canva. Guy, thanks so much for joining us. I know you did a keynote today at Pubcon about personal branding and social media.
Conferences I attended, the speakers were fantastic. The weather here has been amazing. I mean, this location, the hotel.
The thing I'm really liking about the SEJ Summit is the 3 takeaways structure.
Yes.
I'm leaving with way more.
I also like the single session format for conferences.
I agreed to be a speaker here because I think above all else, the quality of people who attend the meeting, something to be said about the fact that you can't just pay to come here. It's by invitation only.
What I've really liked about the speakers is that it's been very well-rounded. We focused on content generation ideas.